Good afternoon. Welcome to Credit Suite Live. I will be your host today. I'm Keith. I'm our content specialist and social media director here at Credit Suite. And today we're going to be talking about 7 innovative ways to fund your small or startup business. And we're going to cover some things that are a little bit out of the ordinary, some concepts, some ideas that we just normally don't talk about. And the reason is because I have a lot of fun talking about this. So we're going to jump right in. If you have any questions, if you're joining us, make sure to let me know where you're from, your name, company name, get yourself a little bit of exposure with our audience. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions while I'm going through this, feel free to throw it out in chat and I'll get it answered for you. So when you're looking at funding your business, a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is specifically geared towards small businesses, maybe you've been in business a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you're really wanting to get to the next level, or maybe you've got a concept or you're a startup and you want to find some ways to be able to start generating some revenue to be able to get out there. Because let's face it, there are some industries that getting out and just the bootstrap grind is just not an option, but but you need some ways to come up with money. So what I'm going to cover for you today is 7 different ways that we've come up with that can help you to actually get the money that you need to start and grow your business. And we're not going to be really talking about business loans. I've got one point at the end there that I'm going to cover for you with business loans, but that's at the very end. So the first thing I want to talk with you that we're going to cover, the first way that you can get funding for your business is private investors. If you don't have much experience, a private investor is simply somebody who's got the money to be able to help you get up and going. When you're looking at private investors and you're looking at bringing somebody in as an investor for your business, there's a couple things that they're going to want to see. First off, nobody's just going to give you money because you have an idea. Having an idea is wonderful. It's a great thing. It's the starting point for getting your business. But when you're working with investors, what they're going to want to see is they want to see what is your idea? How are you going to monetize it? How much are they going to get for investing into your business? And then the things that you want to consider is, how much equity standing are you going to get them? How much money do you really need from these private investors? What is it that you require from them? Now, when you're looking at investors, there's a couple different ways that you could go about this. With private investors, if you've got a family member that's got some money that you can pull from, that's willing to invest in the company, which is great. I mean, basically at that point, you're getting the money. You don't have somebody else coming in and wanting to have any say over what's going on. But the other side is, as you're out there networking, meeting different business owners, talking with people, you may find somebody who is going to be just an amazing fit for your business. They've got connections, they've got resources, they've got an audience that they can introduce you to, that can really help you jump to the next level. And when you're doing this, the way that I view approaching a private investor is going to be almost the exact same way that you would want to approach a bank. And so, like, if you go through our YouTube channel here, you're going to be able to find different trainings that we have on investor pitch decks for SBA loans and different startups. But with an investor pitch deck, what you're doing is basically you're coming out and saying, okay, you know what? Here's my vision. Here's our monetization strategy. Here's our audience. Here's our competition that we're up against. And really, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be showing them all the pros, the cons, the obstacles that the known obstacles that you're going to be up against, and how you're going to overcome them. The thing that's nice about a private investor is that it's private. It's not something that you have to go out and talk about. You still have a lot of control, probably most of the control over your business, and they're going to get a return as the business grows and as you get up and as things start happening. And the other thing that's nice with the private investors is you basically get to set the terms of, what do repayment look like? Are you going, if they're investing $100,000 in a startup or $100,000 in a growth project that you have, what's your repayment terms? How are they going to make money? How much money are they going to make in the process? So private investors is the first way that you can get money for your business. The next one is actually not a private investor, but they're angel investors. So angel investors are different than private investors because angel investors actually are coming in. They're looking at angel investors are primarily going to be startups. With an angel investor is somebody who looks at they're basically they're looking for disruptive business models. So what a disruptive business model is somebody who's going to come in and go, you know what, this is the way things are always done. Here's status quo, but we're going to do this over here. And so, like a great example of a disruptive business model was Uber. Uber is probably one of the keys, one of the kingpins of disruptive industries, because they came in and they said, you know what, we see all this taxi industry, we see all this transportation going on, but we want to give average people or regular people the ability to use the tools and resources they have with their vehicles to be able to get out there and make money. And so the angel investors looked at this and knew that it was immediately going to be disruptive. It was going to mess up a lot of different industries. The reason they look for disruptive industries or disruptive businesses is because when you have a disruptive business model, you're going out into an already established business. You're going or into an already established industry, and basically you're changing the rules. You're changing the pricing model. You're changing how the services are delivered, and you're giving new value to an industry, and you're carving out a niche inside of that industry that nobody else has touched. The other side about angel investors, they're going to be a lot more stringent, not even a little bit, but they're going to be a lot more stringent on control inside of the business. It's going to be a lot more polished. It's going to be more professional. But the flip side is that angel investors aren't just investing into your business. This is their career. This is what they do for a living. And so they're going to have other businesses that you can potentially be networking with, setting up connections with, and working with other companies to boost your engagement, to boost your startup, to be able to get it off the ground. So number one way, private investors, find somebody you know. Number two way, angel investors. If you have a disruptive business, great way to get out there. Number three, and this is going to cover numbers 3 and number 4, and we're going to talk about crowdfunding. Now, with crowdfunding, I think is, out of all the things that I've seen out there, crowdfunding is one of my favorite models that has come about within the last 10 years. The reason I like it so much is that, like, when you're working with investors, you're working with angel investors, it's a great concept. It's always amazing to have those mentors there who are a part of your business that can help you, to give you insight, and to bring in resources to be able to help you rapidly scale. The thing that I like about crowdfunding, though, is crowdfunding gives you more control over your business. And with the rise in technology and the industry as a whole in crowdfunding, there's a lot of resources out there. So when we're looking at crowdfunding, the reason this is going to be number 3 and number 4, because there's 2 different options when you're looking at crowdfunding. And I'm going to help you think through this. So if you have any ideas, or if you have an industry that you're trying to raise money for, you want some ideas on crowdfunding, throw them in the chat. More than happy to chat with you about it and look at what you're doing and be able to give you some answers. So the first type of crowdfunding we're going to look at is called reward-based crowdfunding. Reward-based crowdfunding is just that. You're giving a reward. So the technical definition is individuals donating to a project or business with the expectation of receiving a non-financial reward in return, such as goods or services at a later stage. You see a lot of reward-based crowdfunding when you're dealing in software industries, if you're dealing with like events as well. So what it could look like is, let's say you're starting a software company and you've got a CRM that you want to roll out. With reward-based crowdfunding, you're going out and saying, look, if you invest in this, I'm going to give you lifetime access for free. And so now they know if they invest 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, whatever that number is, that they're going to actually have something of substantial value that's going to have a long-term impact on them as an investor and help them out. The thing that's nice about going with the reward-based crowdfunding, 1, you get to keep all your profits. 2, the other side is that you're actually building your client base. So people who are willing to invest in your business in a crowdfunding aspect, in a rewards-based crowdfunding aspect, those are going to be also your test group. And what I've seen that I think is a brilliant idea is actually taking these people putting them into like a focus group that as you're rolling out new developments, as you're innovating your business, as you're working through different thoughts and ideas of what you can do. I think this is a great way to be able to this is a great way to have a focus group that's going to be completely honest with you because they've already made the investment. They've already seen what you do. They've already bought into your vision. So they're going to have a lot. They're going to really want to see what you have to say about it. Now, some of the websites that you can look at, while you're for reward-based crowdfunding, Kickstarter is probably the most well-known. There's another one, and I'll throw them in the chat here. So we've got Kickstarter. And all of these are like Kickstarter.com. Indiegogo is another one, Indiegogo.com. And then Rocket Hub is the third one that we've seen that has worked well. And I pulled these from some older resources. They may not be up to date. You still want to do your own research on these. But these platforms actually tout themselves as being reward-based crowdfunding specifically for this. And the thing that's great about working with a company like this is their niche. This is what they do. They're going to have a lot of insight about what works well. They're going to have a lot of feedback on different strategies for rolling out a rewards-based crowdfunding campaign to be able to fund your business. Now, the fourth one that we talked about was in crowdfunding is equity-based crowdfunding. And equity-based crowdfunding is going to perform a lot more like what you're used to. So basically, with equity crowdfunding, you're going to issue investors small ownership in a company in exchange for capital. So, for example, if you set a $100,000 funding goal, if somebody invests $10,000, they're going to get 10% of the equity that you're willing to put up in exchange for that funding. So the math, if you look at it, you go, you know what? I got 100% equity. I'm willing to give up 25% equity for $100,000. And so now, if you get that, when you get that $100,000, let's say you've got Joe over here who gives you 10,000. That means that Joe is getting 10,000 of that 25% equity that you're willing to give up. Makes sense. So it's more like they have 2.5% equity, but basically they're getting 10% overall of what that means. With equity-based crowdfunding, some of the things you have to be careful of. You really got to be on top of your books. This is not something where you're going to be able to just run everything off of a spreadsheet and you're going to have happy people. You need to have a profitable business model, and that is probably one of the first things. They're going to want to see how much money are they going to make for investing with you, what kind of return are they going to get, when are they going to recoup their money. That's really what it comes down to. So equity-based crowdfunding is going to be great if you've got stuff that's going to be a little more, a little bigger. And some of the things that and I talked about this on Tuesday on our live stream Tuesday. But real estate, I think, is one of them that I've seen with equity-based crowdfunding that is just a brilliant idea, where you can have this equity-based crowdfunding to be able to purchase a property, and everybody who's getting involved is actually getting a reward, and there's a definitive payoff date because it's real estate. If you're doing a fix and flip and they're investing into it, they're going to have the opportunity, once you sell the property, to recoup their initial investment and get not the equity, but the profit, get a portion of the profits for investing into it. So equity crowd-based funding is a great option if you don't really have a product or service that makes sense. From a rewards-based crowdfunding, equity crowdfunding could be an option. And I'm going to put this in here for you as well. So this is equity. See if I can spell today. Equity-based crowdfunding. And the companies that I have for this are AngelList, CircleUp, and Fundable. And I'll put those right here. There you go. So AngelList, CircleUp, and Fundable. And again, the value of working with some of these bigger platforms on an issue like this, they're going to have a lot of those resources. They're going to be able to give you that jump start on what do you need to actually make this work. What does the system look like? They're going to have all the resources really that you need to run a successful campaign for equity-based crowdfunding. All right, so we've been through 4 already. Our top one is number 1 was private investors. Number 2, angel investors. Number 3, reward-based crowdfunding. Number 4, equity-based crowdfunding. All right, these next two, I went creative on it, and the reason I went creative on it is because these are concepts that we've actually seen people use, and they're concepts that I think are absolutely brilliant. That a lot of people they don't think about. You know, we a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we get this vision, we go like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and then we just get out there and we just start doing it, but we're not thinking about, you know what, how can I strategically make this happen? So these next two are actually going to be around a bootstrapping model. So number 5 and number 6, we're going to be talking about different ways to be able to strategically bootstrap your business to be able to get the funding that you need. So the first one, I'm calling it selective bootstrapping. And selective bootstrapping is more for those of us who we're working a 9 to 5, we love our job, but we've got this vision. We're entrepreneurs. We see this dream. There's something that we want to get out there and do. This is designed for those of us who are time strapped. Maybe you've got kids, you've got family, you've got a 9 to 5, and you're trying to start a business. And you know, there's always a million things that we have to do. So this is a selective bootstrapping is being very selective on who you're choosing to work with, and you're doing more of a selective client intake for the sole purpose of transparency, of going out and saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to start a web design business. And so instead of going out there and going, I'm going to get 1,000 clients and I'm going to start working on them, when you're doing this as a side hustle and as a startup, what you're doing is you're looking at it going, you know what, I realistically have enough room for 2 people. And so instead of you going out after the masses, you start advertising and you start interviewing for the 2 clients that you want. And you're being very selective on who you want, because one, the whole goal behind this is, instead of you going out and trying to build the systems, build the process, map out your SOPs, put together your email campaigns, put together all the assets that you need, what you're doing is you're going, you know what, I like what you're doing. I'm going to jump in and I want to work with you. And then you start building while you're working. So instead of presenting yourself as having it all together and trying to, you're going, look, this is a new business for me, and I want to use you as a case study to be able to grow my business. The reason this is an effective model is, one, as you're getting out there and you start advertising, now the clients that are coming to you aren't just getting your services, but you're also giving them exposure because you're using them as a case study for what you're doing. The second thing is, as you're communicating, as you're working with them, as you're getting the tools, the resources, you're able to go through and strategically map out your SOPs so that you can start putting together your entire infrastructure, everything that you need, your systems, your processes, your payment methods, you know, how are you going to be communicating, what CRMs are you going to use, you know, all these intricacies that go into starting and running a business. Now you're going to be able to do that a step at a time with the client as you're doing it. And the beauty of this is that instead of you having to get out there and be assumptive and presuming that you know what the marketplace wants, now you're taking a very small select clientele that you want to focus on, and you're able to get direct feedback from them of, hey, this is really valuable, this is really good. The way that I've seen this work, and this is something that I've actually done, and that's the reason that I like talking about this, but the way that this works is actually just complete transparency. Instead of going out and going, look, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. Everybody knows me. Everybody loves me. You're going out and saying, look, I've got this idea. I know I'm good at this. I've got it. I've got everything. I would like to do this with you. And you just be honest. You be upfront with them. You build it with them. You communicate. You over communicate, and you bring them into the process. You're going to find a lot of the clients that you do this with, if you're very upfront with them, they're going to respect it, and they're going to enjoy the process. They're going to work with you. You're still going to have to convince them that you can do the job, because, you know, obviously the way you're going about this is building with clients, not just building and then trying to attract clients. So that's what I like to call selective bootstrapping. Number 5. Number 6, this is actually something that I've seen that I think is a brilliant idea that a lot of us overmiss. And I'm calling this one sponsored bootstrapping. The reason that I'm calling it sponsored bootstrapping is very simple. You partner with an existing business that has a need, and it can be mutually beneficial to what you're doing. So, for example, with Credit Suite, we do a lot. We're a business to business industry, so we're working with other business owners. What we've done is we've found other companies that offer a lot of the same things that we do, that are attracting the same clients that we're working with, so that you can so that we can promote their services. Going with a sponsored bootstrap means that you may be working a 9 to 5 job. You see a need, you see a niche in there, and you go, you know what? I absolutely love this. I'm passionate about this. This is something I want to do. And if I'm going to start a business, I would rather start it with the people that have given me the opportunity to, rather than get out there and do it on my own. Sponsored bootstrapping. This is very conceptual, but this is something that I've actually seen with a lot of friends of mine who they started in one industry, and then the people that their team started really, as the company started to grow, they started to blossom and find their own passions inside of the company, and then they would break off. A great example of this that I like to refer back to is the CRM platform Infusionsoft. It's Keep now, Keap. But originally, when it launched, it was called Infusionsoft. When Infusionsoft launched, it was a great platform. It still is a wonderful CRM, does a lot of really cool things, very effective. But it was complex, and it was the first time a CRM had rolled out for smaller businesses. But with all these complexities that you would traditionally see in some of the bigger platforms like Oracle or Salesforce, the Infusionsoft had this massive gap of a learner curve. And so one of the co-founders of Infusionsoft actually started training the clients that were in there. And then he ended up starting his own company called Sixth Division. And so Sixth Division, actually, they grew up with Infusionsoft, and then they just kind of naturally started taking their own way. Infusionsoft would push people to Sixth Division. Sixth Division would always push people back to Infusionsoft. So they created this symbiotic relationship together. And with it, both of them were able to reach more people than they normally could, because now Sixth Division was able to talk about things that weren't really relevant to the Infusionsoft platform, but still important for the audience that they were both targeting. So this is, again, the whole point of today is to talk about ways to fund your business that you've never considered. Sponsored bootstrapping, finding companies, finding different people that you can work with, I think is a very creative way for you to be able to get out there and not just start from scratch, but now you've got an existing corporation that is that's helping you to grow. It's giving you that platform to stand on so that you can get ahead of the curve and get out there and do do what you need to do. So quick recap. First way, private investors. Second way, angel investors. Third way, reward-based crowdfunding. Fourth way, equity-based crowdfunding. Fifth way, selective bootstrapping. Sixth way, sponsored bootstrapping. And our final, this is the 2-year stair-step financing strategy. This isn't going to be something you haven't considered, but this is going to be a way that you maybe haven't considered it. So if you don't want to get into bringing in partners, you don't want to get in, you don't have the ability to do any of these other things we've talked about, the way that you fund a business is there's a very particular pattern that you want to go about. The first thing is to understand that as a younger business, or having limited resources, or maybe not having the assets that you normally would have, you're going to be limited on the financing options that you can put together. So for example, you can't just be a startup, come up with this great business plan and go to a bank and say, hey, give me $10 million. They're going to laugh at you. There has to be a proven track record. Now, the reason I'm calling this the 2-year stair-stepping financing is because it really, to be able to get into the bigger dollar amounts, to be able to get to the $500,000, million plus type business loans, they're going to want to see 2 years of tax returns that are profitable. So while you're getting there, the way that you can finance your business is this. There's really 4 stages of stair-step financing. The first stage is business credit and business credit cards. Business credit is wonderful because there's no startup, or they'll take startups. There's no income requirements. There's no asset requirements. There's no income verification. It really gives you the ability to be able to quickly fund some of the purchases that you need to get your business up and going. Now, with business credit, and this isn't the credit cards, we're just talking about business credit here. With business credit, you're going to be set on maybe net 30s, net 20s sometimes, maybe even a net 15, meaning that you're going to have to pay it off within 15, 20, 30 days. So it's not like you're financing a bunch of stuff. But the beauty of it is that as a small business owner, let's say you're in construction. If you're leveraging your business credit, you could go out, you can get a credit line with, let's say, Home Depot. You're able to now get the supplies and the tools that you need to be able to finish a job, get out there, get the work done, get and make your money, and then pay off your credit lines, giving you the ability to make money using other people's money. Now, the other side of that is business credit cards or business credit lines, or for us, it's the credit line hybrid. So with a program like the credit line hybrid, it has the same requirements. Startups are okay. No revenue, no income assets, no asset requirements. It's basically a ninja loan. No income, no asset. But I mean, you have to have a job. So we'll call it a Nina loan. No income, no asset verification. It's really based off of your personal credit. So if you've got good personal credit, now you can have your business credit that's operating over here. Plus, you have business credit lines up to $150,000 that you can put some of your bigger purchases, make your minimum payments on, and get to the point where you're starting to generate substantially more revenue. That's phase one. Phase two, now that you're generating revenue, once you get to the point that you're doing $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month of gross revenue, now you start to qualify for cash flow financing, where you can look at it and go, you know what, I've been testing out this marketing campaign. It's working really well. Now I need some money to invest in this marketing campaign. You get into cash flow financing, where you may be able to get money on a 6-month or 12-month term, and you could potentially look up, you can get up to about $500,000. But the realistic numbers of it, excuse me, I'm getting all excited here and choke myself up. The realistic numbers is it's equivalent to about a month's worth of your gross revenue. So if you're consistently bringing in $20,000 a month with cash flow financing, now you're going to be able to get about $20,000 of financing, and there are going to be payments on there. It's not like you just get the money and there are going to be things that you're going to need to take into consideration with it. But now you've leveraged your business credit, you've leveraged your business credit cards to be able to get you to a place where you beefed up your cash flow. Now you can take your cash flow and you start investing that into some of your bigger marketing campaigns, some things that are going to make you money, things that you're looking at from a strategic standpoint, going, you know, if I have $20,000, I know I can get this campaign out there, or I can get this tool that's going to just massively improve my productivity or my bottom line and get me more money. Now, the reason this is a 2-year stair-step process is because it takes time. Business credit and the credit line hybrid, you can get right out of the gate as a startup. The no time and business requirements, nice and easy. It's a great tool to get you to get things up and going. Cash flow financing, you're going to have at least 6 months of production in there to be able to qualify for it. Now, from there, now you're going to be able to take what you're making, and this should take you about a year to be able to get here, but that's when you're going to start looking at collateral-based financing. So with the collateral-based financing, that's saying that you have money that you've maybe invested into equipment, inventory, invoices. So like if you're in a consulting business, or you're in like a business that I like to call them desk jobs or white collar business. If you're invoicing your clients, and that's how you make your money, is by invoicing, you can actually use those invoices to be able to get financing for your business, and using those invoices to secure the financing. So now what you're doing is you're leveraging your credit, you're leveraging your cash flow, and you're building collateral within that 12 to 18 month window to be able to get financing to step you ahead even further. Now, if you look up in 2 years, now you've got 4 different types of finance. You got business credit, credit line hybrid, cash flow financing, and you've got collateral financing. You've got 4 different types of financing that you're leveraging. And inside of those, there's different ways that you can use that as well. But now you should be at the point that you're at that 2-year mark. You've got your tax returns. Now you've built your assets, because again, you're building collateral using the business credit and the cash flow financing. You've got credit, you've got your personal credit, you've got business credit, and you've got profit. You're running a profitable business, which means now you can step into the bigger financing options like SBA loans, traditional financing with banks. And this is where you start getting into the big chunks of money that you can get on the 10 years, 20, 25-year amortization. So you get that low payment, you get the good rates, you get the lower fees, and now you've systematically set up your business. This is going to take work, but this is a financing, it's a strategy that's going to take some time to be able to get there. So let's recap all these from the top. Let's count it down. Number one, first way we talked about private investors. Second way we talked about angel investors. Third way, reward-based crowdfunding. Fourth way, equity-based crowdfunding. Number five, selective bootstrapping. Number six, sponsored bootstrapping, one that I really enjoy. And number seven is the 2-year stair-step financing strategy. If you need help with this, or there's anything we can help you out with, give us a call. We would love to help you. Or you can go online to creditsuite.com/consult. We've got account executives who can sit down, and if you need help coming up with how you want to bootstrap, how you want to fund your business, maybe you looked at this, you're like, you know what, I got some of these things, I just need some help finding the right tools. We can definitely help you out with that. Again, that's creditsuite.com/consult. It's free. We'll sit down, we'll talk to you about your financing options. If you need help coming up with that 2-year stair steps financing strategy, we'll work with you through that. We'll assess your situation, figure out what's going on. Again, that's creditsuite.com/consult, or you can just visit us online at creditsuite.com, or give us a call. We're always happy to help and answer your questions live. It's our phone number is 877-600-2487. Again, 877. Sorry, I'm trying to talk in my presentation voice and type, and it's kind of throwing me off. 877-600-2487, or visit us online at creditsuite.com. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Have an awesome rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.